Hello all, welcome back to my YouTube channel. Girl, it has been a while, hasn't it? So for today's video, I'm gonna go ahead and give a review of 2020 and how I've been actually maintaining my sanity in quarantine. And that is my yearly review in music. First of all, I just wanna say, just one caveat about the pandemic. I'm in Los Angeles, of course, and I feel like, girl, we've been in like quarantine since like forever. Like I know other places like around the world and around like the USA in general have been like relatively like open, but I feel like Los Angeles has been like closed since March. Meanwhile, the girls in Atlanta like are out in clubs. Girls in Houston are clubbing, like, you know what I'm saying, or they pull their masks down to sip drinks. And you know, it's really wild now too because like Los Angeles is the new epicenter. Girl, if the nation just would've got their shit together, girl, we all could've just, girl, whatever. But anyway, yeah, y'all just stay safe. Y'all stay safe. Music, if y'all don't know, that's literally like what I do. I don't watch Netflix. I don't watch Hulu. Girl, don't come to me asking me about, oh girl, have you seen this TV show? Have you seen this TV show? I have not seen that TV show, and I'm gonna lie to you and say that I will watch it, but I'm not going to watch it. But you know, you can ask me like, hey, did you hear that new such and such album? I'll be like, no, I haven't. But you know, if I trust their opinion and they have taste, and I'll like most likely like listen to it. Yeah, so that's some shit that you can talk to me about, and that's what we're gonna talk about today. So this year in music has been actually pretty great, if I must say so. The last time I like really felt this great about a year in music probably was around like 2016. 2016 was a really great year in music. 2018 was fun as well. Ooh, bitch, I was down bad in 2018. So 2020 is definitely up there. And it's, you know, it's really interesting that you have like the juxtaposition of like, girl, you guys are like suffering IRL. But music wise, like, I'm very entertained. So without further ado, let's just jump right on into it, shall we? So the song of the year, let's go ahead and say it. Ungodly Hour by Chloe and Halle. Now, I don't know if you guys saw my Chloe and Halle Ungodly Hour album reaction video, but when I heard the title track, I lost my shit. I'm geeking. I'm about to pass out. Woo! Chill. If you guys follow me on social media, you know that I have always declared that Ungodly Hour is the song of the year. And when I tell you that it is the song of the year, for me, I have been wearing that song out. First of all, the fact that it's produced by Disclosure, boom. There is a certain point in my day where I listen to that song for at least 30 minutes. On repeat. But yeah, I love that fucking song. It actually was like my second most played song of the year. And while we're talking about it, let's go ahead and jump into my most played song of the year. Whatever You Got by Nia. So I'm actually a pretty big fan of Nia. Kind of really funny how I got into her music. So back after I graduated college in 2016, my mom was living in Iowa. I drove up to go stay with my mom for a couple of months before I moved here to Los Angeles. And while I was in Iowa, I was working to like save money to move, girl, the fuck out of Iowa, because what the hell is in Iowa? I was suffering very miserable time. I don't like thinking about it, but yes, girl, I did live in Iowa for a couple of months. And one of the jobs that I had, I worked at this discount shoe store. Of course, like, me being the person that I am, like, music is literally what got me through the days at those terrible, terrible jobs. Like, girl, you're working retail, literally, if the store playlist is not hitting, like, I'm, like, in hell. But the thing is, with me, like, even if the store playlist isn't hitting, I'm gonna find songs that I like. And there was this song on the playlist called David's House, and it was like the most low-key, like, annoying ass song. And like every time it came on, like the associates would be like, oh my god, it's this song. But of course, like, ironically, kept singing along to it, let's go to David's house to it, because it came on literally like every shift that I would work. It would come on and we'd be like, oh bitch, it's that time of the day, girl, it's David's house time. And ironically, like, was listening to the song, and then it became unironically where I was actually like, oh girl, I actually like this song. Left that job, moved to Los Angeles, and I was bored at work one day, and I was like, oh shit, I haven't heard David's House literally like in years at that point. It'd been like a couple of years since I moved out of Iowa. So girl, being like the nerd that I am, I googled the song, googled who it was sung by, and like realized that it's clearly like a retail playlist gem. Anyway, figured out who the artist was, and I was like, oh girl, like, went to her Spotify, went through her discography, realized that, oh my god, she works with one of my favorite producers called Robin Hannibal. And Robin Hannibal is the duo Quadrant out of the Netherlands, I believe. It's a producer-singer duo, Coco O and Robin Honorable. And I got into them because I really fell in love with their sophomore album called Avalanche. And I just love like his productions and his use of strings and percussions. So like I really like fell in love with that album. I actually went to one of their concerts in St. Louis when I was in college. Whoa, like wait, so this is what Robin is up to now. He's working with Nia. But then I got into her debut album, or it might be One, I don't know. And I was like, oh bitch, like this is the music that I've been looking for. It's like that quadrant sound. And since I discovered that album, I've like been following Nia. She released Whatever You Got at the tail end of 2019. I didn't get into it until the beginning of like 2020. And it had this signature like quadrant, Robin Honorable like production, and fell in love with it. So, you know, kept that on repeat, still's on repeat. So that's why that was my most played song of 2020. Now let's get into my favorite album of 2020, and that is Dua Lipa's Future Nostalgia. Now I know I'm gonna go ahead and get a little bit of flack for this because, girl, it's Dua Lipa, and a lot of people are like, oh my god, that album was not all that, the album's not all that. And you know what? I'll go ahead and admit the album definitely like isn't objectively the best album of the year, but it's my favorite album, and I'll go ahead and explain why. Don't Start Now came out, I believe, in October of 2019, and I really love that record. I just like, okay, girl, let's see what, you know, this girl's up to, because I really like this song, and started doing a little bit more research about, you know, the album. And this album, Future Nostalgia, was a concept album, and I thought, wow, that's like really interesting. And I'll be honest, I never really thought of Dua Lipa as like an artist, but her like really talking about like this future nostalgia concept and then pairing that with like the imagery that it had, I started like getting really into like Dua Lipa. I was like, okay girl, like I'm tuned in. I really want to see, you know, what's going on here. I love the title track, Future Nostalgia. Really got into that. Super funky. Jeff Basker did that. He worked on I Care by Beyonce. So was really like, okay girl, like I'm tuned in. I really want to see. And it just so happened that Future Nostalgia came out around the time that we went into quarantine. So I literally was like, girl, I'm doing nothing. Let's hyper focus on this album. And that's what the fuck I did. It was a really well produced pop record. And, you know, a lot of people like to shade pop records because of that. It's like, oh, it's pop, there's like no soul or whatever. But there's a certain art form to a really well-produced pop record. And Future Nostalgia is full of really well-produced pop records. And the fact that it was a concept album, and the fact that she stuck to that concept album, especially being that music is very singles driven, and don't get me wrong, Future Nostalgia is very singles heavy, but the fact that the singles were all concept driven, I had to give my girl some props for that. And she had a really great, I think, album campaign. Yeah, it just was a really great project in my opinion. A really well produced, nicely packaged record. I gotta give Dua her recognition for that because a lot of people aren't doing that. A lot of people cannot do that. So yeah girl, and like I said, it was good. You can't tell me that the record was bad. You can argue with me and say that it's not the best record of 2020, but it is my favorite album of 2020. And you heard it here first, it's going to win Album of the Year at the Grammys. Now let's get into my favorite performance of 2020, and that is Doja Cat at the Billboard Music Awards. Child, Juicy, Say So, and Like That. When I tell you, like, I watch this performance regularly, like this performance lives in my mind rent free. It's so funny. Every time I like drink or I'm with my friends, I'm like, girl, let's go watch this performance. Performance is like amazing. I'm like in awe because it's like weird, like her music like isn't really musical, like, you know, she's a hip-hop artist, but her like arrangements of the songs, they're like chef's kiss. Like they're so good, they're so damn good. Like the music director that she has, like girl, applause. I'm still trying to find who they are. I don't know who they are. If y'all like figure that out, please like put it in the comments because grade A. Watch this performance all the time. Literally lives in my mind rent free. My favorite music video of 2020. Of course, I gotta give it to my girl Beyonce. Black is King. Black is King was such an event. Thank you, Beyonce, because girl, it was getting really heavy out here in these quarantine streets. My girl dropped a visual album to the album that she had released a year prior called Lion King The Gift, which was an amazing album, phenomenal record. People didn't give it, you know, its applause because, girl, they like hate on Beyonce for some reason or whatever. I don't even care about the critiques because the album was very great. One of Beyonce's best. I mean, it's not a bad album. Beyonce does not make bad music anymore. I was really excited that we got a visual to accompany the music. And of course, Beyonce is a visual artist, so it did not disappoint. I think that my favorite video off of that project was Find Your Way Back. That is probably my favorite song off the record as well. So I'm glad that my girl did what the fuck she had to do for that record. She showed out. She gave Find Your Way Back her moment. Also, the outro has Solange on it with extra vocals. Like, she gave Find Your Way Back her moment. That's my girl. That's gonna always be my girl, and I'm gonna always ride out for Beyonce. And speaking of Beyonce, let's get into the most unexpected news as far as music goes, and that is, girl, Beyonce being nominated for 9 Grammys on her off year. My girl didn't release an album. My girl didn't do nothing. My girl sat on her ass in quarantine and watched her kids and still came out the most nominated artist at the Grammy Awards. I'll never forget, girl. I woke up and I was like, because, you know, Grammy season for, at least for Beyonce fans, is always like fun. Because, you know, my girl is like, you know what I'm saying? I don't want to say she's like that girl of the Grammys, but she's the girl of the Grammys. So, but still, it was her off year. But I was like, girl, we'll get like a couple of things. Black is King is out. We'll get 1 or 2 nominations, 3, 4 at the most, right? Girl, no. I like woke up. My friend texted me, oh, by the way, Beyonce is the most nominated artist. And I was like, wait, what? I was like, huh? I like skipped over it because I had just woken up. And I was like, girl, I'm a little like, I don't know what the hell she's talking about. She must have read something wrong. And I did my Google. And I was like, oh, wait, what? Girl, 9 Grammy nominations on her off year. Who the fuck is doing it? It's funny because, like, it's back, like, when I was really standing for my girl, like, when I was, like, what, 16, 17, girl, way back when, like, this event would have been, like, girl, we would have got up, like, carrying. We would have been, like, girl, who the fuck else did this, that, third, Beyonce this, Beyonce that, but, like, it wasn't even an event. It was just, like, girl, you just wake up and you just laugh because who the fuck else? Who the fuck else? Like, the behavior is very legendary. Like, you wake up. Like, who else? Who else? That's my girl. I'm gonna write out for my girl all the time. Like, who else? She only released, like, two songs. Like, what? What was it? Black Parade and the Savage remix. And, girl, 9 Grammy nominations. It don't get no better. It don't get no better. Like, who else? No one else. No one else. No one else. That's the girl. Anyway, I think she's like the most nominated artist in Grammy history now, and hopefully, like, after the awards, like, even if she doesn't win anything, like, still, like, the fact that you got 9 nominations off of 2 songs on your off year when you were doing nothing, crazy. It's like, you got, it's like, gosh, you can't even hate on it. You know, it's just like, girl, you just gotta applaud. That's my girl. Anyway, let's hope after maybe she'll win a couple. If she wins 4, she'll be the most acclaimed, like, female artist. And if she wins 3, she'll, like, tie. Anyway, it don't even matter. Like I said, she can go home with 0. My girl still won the night. But enough of the legends. Let's get into the new artist. And the best song by a new artist that I got into this year is called Baby Powder. And the artist is Giovanine. It's such a cute little bop. It's like late 70s, early 80s, like funky, like Isley Brothers almost. And like super sexy, like... Yeah, it's a fun little tune, and this actually was this girl's debut single as far as I saw on Spotify, and you know, it just made me like think. I was like, girl, 2020 like wasn't the way it is, and like shit wasn't closed. Like, I wonder like if that song would have like had like a bigger moment. Don't get me wrong now, the song like girl has like really great streaming numbers. But if you haven't heard it, don't you worry, I got your back. And while we're on new artists, let's get into the best duet of the year. And that is the song called Talk to You by Elise Go and this artist named Jacoby. This song is amazing, giving me very much so 90s Brandy vibes. Has a little bit of Kalani, girl, some Usher teas. Like, it's like, ooh, just exactly what I needed. The vocal arrangement and the production is just chef's kiss, chef's kiss. Mwah. But we'll get into Elise Go a little bit later. So now another anomaly of 2020 that you all are probably familiar with, and that is Versus. If you haven't heard about Versus, you've been living under a rock. It's essentially a competition, if you will, of 20 songs back to back from musical artists. So I would say my favorite Versus of this year was Brandy versus Monica. I had gotten into both Brandy and Monica's discographies again and was like really reliving and enjoying like some of my favorite moments of those two artists, and it was just a really great time. I don't know, with the girls, it's less of a battle and more of like a celebration and like a discussion of their discographies. And I mean, as a music nerd, like that's literally like what I live for. Now, as far as who I think won it, I'm gonna have to give it to my girl Brandy. My girl Brandy just has a better discography, but still love Monica down. That is my girl. Now, speaking of Monica, the fanboy moment of 2020 was, I don't know if you guys saw, but I was on Instagram Live on Easter Sunday singing with Monica.
Huh? You know the words? Of course. He don't love me like he used to. Hold on, wait. Wait, you know those words. Listen, that's one song. My song. He don't hold me, he don't kiss me. Boy, my body's feeling lonely. I can't help you if I need to. I can't do all that. You got that. But when he goes wait a minute. Why you gonna throw it back on me? Huh? Why you gonna throw it back on me? Cause I can't do all that. You know, you got the vocals.
One of my favorite deep cuts. Like, if that isn't like the most 2020-ish shit ever, like, girl, like, of course it happened in 2020. She was like, girl, how do you know that? How do you know this song? How do you know this song? Like, Monica, girl, like, I know you. I check up on you every now and then. Like, girl, of course I know that song. She was really gagged that I, like, knew the lyrics. Now, 2020 had a lot of remixes, but of course, I'm gonna give the best remix to my girl, Beyonce and Megan Thee Stallion for Salvage Remix, one of the biggest hits of the year, and all the proceeds went to charity. So shout out to Beyonce and Megan Thee Stallion. It's gonna win Song of the Year or Record of the Year, whatever it's nominated for, it's gonna win it. You heard it here first. Boom. Now, the most unlikely thing to happen in 2020. Now, 2020 was full of unlikely things, but the most 2020 of things to happen this year was me finally getting into a Madonna record, and the Madonna record that I got into was Hard Candy. Now, I've been hearing about Hard Candy literally for years. One of my friends was really trying to get me into Hard Candy. He knows that I'm like a really big like Pharrell fan, and Pharrell, along with Timbaland and Justin Timberlake, produced like the majority of the album, if not all of it, I believe. You know, I trust their opinions. I was like, in the back of my mind, I knew I would like the record, but I was just like, girl, it's Madonna. Now, I don't want to get too much into the Madonna thing, but if you know me, like, you know the type of music I listen to, very R&B, very much so like female vocalists, and girl, no shade to Madonna, but that's just not her. You know what I'm saying? That's just not my ministry. That's just not what I do. And I don't want to rag on her too hard, because I do think that she offers something to the music industry, and she definitely has impact and left her mark. But again, like, her music is just not for me. And then, girl, was in quarantine, looking around, girl, like, okay, well, what do we do now? I'm bored as hell. I guess I'll finally, like, jump into a Madonna record. Of course, 2020 is the year that I would, like, finally listen to a Madonna album. And when I tell you, and wait, it wouldn't be 2020 unless I, like, really stand for the album. Like, girl, you are standing for a Madonna album in the year of 2020. It makes sense. It checks. It's on brand. Yeah, girl, I was standing for that album. Like, got in. Hard Candy, like, has no skips. So bomb. I was, like, really, like, gagged and, like, mind blown, right? Because I had, like, been, like, cracking jokes on this lady for, like, years. Oh, girl, her music ain't shit. Her music ain't shit, girl. And here you are, like, standing, like, listening, like, on repeat. No other lyrics by now. Like, yeah, girl. I thought it was funny, but that was very unexpected. I got in all the way. Hard Candy is a really amazing album. No skips. So, shout out to Madonna. Y'all know I love R&B music, and so I would think that my favorite R&B moment of 2020 was Rather Be by Brandy. Brandy's B7 was an amazing record. It was great to, like, hear her finally, like, embrace the sound that she directly influenced. Like all of like the new contemporary R&B artists, I believe, like got their, like they learned how to sing like from Brandy, and the way that they produce their vocals and the way that they're, you know, sing their songs are very like Brandy-esque. It's like a full circle moment almost. Well, the highlight of that record is a song called Rather Be by her, and so good, so good. Victoria Monet actually co-wrote that one. And now let's get into some of the bad parts of 2020 as far as music goes, because everything can't be good, right? One of the releases that I was disappointed by most in 2020 is my girl Victoria Monet's Jaguar. Now, let me defend it, because Jaguar actually is an amazing body of work. But the disappointing thing about it is, girl, we had heard all of it already. So I had been anticipating this record since late summer, early fall of 2019 when she released Ass Like That. What was the next song after that? Moment, Dive, and then she released a song called Experience. That's like 4 singles that she had released. And when I tell you, that was like most of the album. What? Girl, I was expecting more. And it was just really weird, too, because when I actually heard the record, 2 of the best songs were interludes. I was like, girl, Big Boss, which is amazing. Short as hell. I'm like, no. Like, I'm sorry, Victoria, we're gonna need more of that. We might even be falling in love again. An interlude. No. Isn't that something? Like when your music is that good, like you're disappointed because you wanted more. And I'm not even gonna let y'all clock me because I got the vinyl. So y'all can't even say like, oh, but you're not even a real fan. Fuck you. Like, I don't hear none of that. Don't come in my comments. I got the vinyl, girl. I got the sweatshirt. It's hanging up over there. So yeah, girl. Still a fan. Still a fan. I will say, she did say that this is one of 3 releases. She like split up the Jaguar project. So this is like the first installment. And I guess it makes sense because my girl like revealed that she's pregnant, and she's been like pregnant the entire year and like didn't tell nobody. Thank you, Victoria Monet. Great record, but girl, please do not pull that bullshit with like, girl, making like some of the best records on the album interludes. Another thing that I was disappointed by in 2020 is my girl Ariana Grande. Oh, I was so disappointed with Position. Y'all don't know, I'm like a really big Ariana Grande fan. Honestly, like, I wasn't really expecting her to release this year. And then I saw and read that she had been working with Pharrell. So I was like, oh girl, I'm really tuned in now. If y'all don't know me, I am a Sweetener stan. Down. Like, y'all could get in the comments and we could fight over this, and I will fight with y'all like all day. Like, Sweetener is her best album. Like, don't come with me with that bullshit talking about something else. Like, Sweetener is the album, #1, down. And Pharrell had a very heavy hand in that album. And so when I heard that she was working with Pharrell again, I was like, ooh girl, we're gonna get some of that magic again. Girl, Positions dropped. No Pharrell songs, no Pharrell placement. I was like, girl, you let me down. You let me down, Ariana. Positions, unfortunately, was like the first Ariana project where I was like, ooh, girl, I'm skipping a lot of these songs. The thing with Ariana, too, is I'm such a fan of her work. I'll probably, like, get into the songs later. You know, it just might be a grower. So I'm not going to go ahead and trash the album and say that it's bad, because I don't think that it's a bad record. It's just not my favorite. Release Pharrell songs, girl. That's all I ask. Just please release the Pharrell songs. Please. I will say, Off the Table, love that duet. I think it's really amazing that she had like a full circle moment with The Weeknd, which a lot of people don't really realize that she low-key created like The Weeknd's mainstream career. And when I say that, people get like up in arms. Like The Weeknd fans like get up in arms like, oh, how dare you. But he even went on record to say that like Ariana like low-key like made him like the mainstream success that he is. Love Me Harder on Ariana's second project. Big record for her, big record for him. But that record, she worked with Max Martin. So Max Martin had produced the record, had produced a duet, and that's when The Weeknd had met and connected with Max Martin. And Max Martin gave The Weeknd like some of his biggest hits, Can't Feel My Face, Starboy, and Blinding Lights, which is like the biggest song of the year. And so he like went on record and was like, oh yeah, girl, thank you for Ariana for making that connection. So yeah, thank you Ariana for giving us, you know, the weekend, right? But yeah, it was like a really great full circle moment. It was missing Max Martin though. I was like, girl, like if y'all have a reunion, like bring in Max to produce it. I can't even hate because the production is really amazing. Great R&B duet. Love that for her. Also love Love Language. Thought that was like an amazing, like kind of garagey, like R&B, like pop. It was great. It was great. So those are like the highlights off of that album. But release the Pharrell songs. Release the Pharrell songs. In 2020, some missed opportunities was my girl Tanasha. I thought that Songs For You was like her strongest project to date. And I was really excited in 2020 to see like how she was going to work the record because it came out at the tail end of 2019. 2020 is going to be Tanasha's year. Unfortunately, shit shut down. And Songs For You kind of like fizzled out. Fuck. Damn. I thought we were gonna get the Hopscotch remix with Meg Thee Stallion because they're both like managed by Roc Nation. So I was like, ooh girl, that remix is coming in the summer. Never came. We got a video for Just Save Room For Us, but unfortunately radio had stalled around when she had released it, so she just wasn't able to really work the project. And my girl wasn't able to tour, so like just really sucks that album like didn't really get like the moment that I thought that it deserved. Especially too because it was like, you know, her first record as an independent artist. So I was really excited to like, for her to have that moment. Anyway, Tanasha girl, thank you for finally getting this to me. I like ordered this like Christmas, the day before Christmas Eve or something like that. Girl, tell me why I got this in like October of this year. I'm not gonna hold you though, Tanasha girl. It's not your fault. It's not your fault. But I really do love this project. Songs For You was such a great album. Yeah. Anyway, enough of the disappointing stuff. Let's get into my proudest accomplishment in 2020. And guess what? It's music related. And that is me finally getting into music management. Yes, that's what I have been doing most of 2020. The boy has been busy working. I have a friend, and who I was talking about, I told you I would come back to this. Her name is Elisco. Had this like unique opportunity where I wasn't really at my day job 24/7 because again, we was quarantined. And my friend Elise was like getting ready to like work her music, and it was something literally that I had always wanted to do. And so I was like, girl, like you need someone to like help you out to release this music. I have talent management experience and I'm not really doing anything because my day job has like stopped. So can I help you out and manage you? And she said yes. And girl, this journey has started. And it has been very rewarding. And I'm so proud of what we accomplished together. And before I get into what we've been up to, I just wanted to reflect on how we even got here because I met Elise like literally by chance. I was in San Francisco visiting for the first time and I was wearing a Beyonce like sweatshirt, right? And I was in like this random like shop, like getting boba tea with my friends, and she comes up to me and she was like, oh my god, I love your sweatshirt, right? And I was like, oh girl, you know, like a fellow Beehive member, like of course girl, like let's talk the shit, So you know, that's literally how the conversation started. You know, she told me that she was a singer-songwriter and she was making music. I let her know that I live in Los Angeles, and she said that she was moving to Los Angeles in a couple of months. And she was like, whenever I'm there, like, we can link up. Now, girl, that's what everyone says, like, oh, ha, 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 like, yeah, I'm in LA, like, whenever you're in town, just hit me up, we'll link up. And you'll never hear from them again, right? Whatever, right? And then she ended up moving to Los Angeles, and she hit me up, and we hung out, and we got along, like, really well. At this point, she was, like, creating the record that we ended up releasing this year. And just hearing her talk about the music process, like, just got me geeked up because, like I said, I'm a music nerd, so I was really into that, and we, like, had, like, really great discussions about the music that she was creating, and she, like, played me, like, the songs that she was making, like, in the process of it, and I was like, oh my god, like, this girl is, like, talented, like, you know, this is, like, a singer and a songwriter, and she has a great ear for melody. Like, I was, like, again, tuned in, and I was speaking with my friend at the time, and I was like, wouldn't it be cool, like, if we could, like, manage her? But I just, like, didn't feel it was right at the time because I don't know, I'm just like very self-critical, and so I was always like very afraid to like approach her with it. And so like life moved on and she had continued to work on the project and we still kept in touch. it was just amazing, like how it just like came to like very naturally, almost like I manifested it. I don't know. Like I said, I look back on it and it's just like really wild. But yeah, we created some really great stuff together, along with the management, as far as like helping her with releases, you know, sending out emails to set and the third, managing her calendar. I also helped with like creative direction and art direction of like the single covers. So I shot like all of the single covers, helped come up with the concepts with her, helped come up with like the promo campaigns like on social media and how we would work the songs. And yeah, it's just been like a really like rewarding experience because I've always wanted to, like I've been wanting to do this for years. Like since I picked up that camera, like it had been my mission to like shoot an album cover. It had been my mission to like, you know, work in music. And I just never like fully dived into it because I never had the time and I, you know, often like doubted myself. So that had been like the really like most rewarding part of like 2020 is like having everything stop to like really have the time to like really sit in and focus on something that I've been wanting to do for a while and like be actually like successful in it. Super rewarding, super rewarding. I'm very proud of like what me and Elise have done, and you guys should definitely check out her songs. Her songs are amazing. Really great. She has a new song coming out on February 5th called Undefined, Don't Call Me. We're in the middle of like our promo campaign for that, so be on the lookout for that. But yeah, that has been like my proudest like accomplishment in 2020, and it's music related. Isn't that a blessing? Now finally, what I'm looking forward to most in 2021 as far as music goes. Y'all, I have been having a humongous SZA moment. Now, SZA released her first single from her new record that comes out this year in 2021, in 2020, called Hit Different, featuring Ty Dolla $ign, and the Neptunes produced it. And so, immediately fell in love with it. Tell me why, literally recently, like, within the week, I, like, actually was like, okay, girl, I've been listening to this song, like, on repeat for forever. Why don't I figure out what the hell she's, like, singing about, right? Girl looked up the lyrics, and I was like, oh my God, this songwriter, like, oh my goodness, like I just had like a very like great appreciation for the music, even more like listening to what the song sounded like and like developing like a personal connection. Girl, when I read them lyrics, I was like, ooh girl, I'm going in a spiral right now. Like this is hitting a little too deep right now. Like it's so funny too because I was listening to the record like this entire time and not even realizing like what the fuck I was like singing along to. Like I actually ended up having like a personal connection to the entire time and didn't realize it. Like that's just funny to me. Yeah, amazing songwriter, really great ear for melody. And Good Days featuring background vocals from Jacob Collier, like again, amazing record. Song of the year, maybe. Excited to see what that record brings. I think Beyonce has been working on a record, so of course I'm gonna be looking forward to my girl. I think Tanasha is working on a new record. Maybe Ariana may even release something because she's like does this thing where she releases a record every year now, I've noticed. So anyway, thank you all for watching. To accompany this video, I'm linking one of my playlists called My Favorite Things. It's gonna be a playlist that I update every month. It's going to be featuring some oldies and some new stuff of like what I've been listening to. For this update, it's going to be all about what I've been listening to in 2020. Pretty much all the songs that I talked about in today's video will be in that playlist. Yeah, you guys should definitely follow it. You know, like it. Let me know what you guys think about it. If you agree with anything that I said, let me know in the comments. If you want to argue with me about Ariana Grande, so be it. You know, let me know what you guys' thoughts were. You know, if you agree, disagree. I'm excited. Let's have this dialogue. 2020 has been like a very prolific year for everybody. Maybe not for the reasons that we want it to be, or maybe something that we just didn't have control over. But I'm really glad that I was able to find some solace in the music that I listened to this year. So shout out to all the artists that like were vulnerable and decided to release their work in 2020, especially like being the fact that they can't even like necessarily make the revenue that they wanted to off of it. So I admire that, you know, a lot of the artists still released their projects and gave us their art. So thank you to the artists. Super excited for 2021 and what's to come. Again, thank you for watching. Subscribe. Be on the lookout for Elise Go's new record called Undefined, Don't Call Me, out on February 5th. You all have a lovely 2021. I wish nothing but blessings. Blessings. May the blessings rain down upon you for the rest of this year. And thank you all. Have a good one.